Hey, good morning, everyone. I believe it is still good morning. Yes, thank you. Welcome, Jessie Campagna. I'm really glad to welcome you here and talk to us today. What I would love for you to do is just to tell us a little bit about yourself and your book, the inspiration for your book, and is there any impact that you're hoping that'll come from the book that you've written? So I'm going to hand it over to you. And again, thanks for being on.
Oh, thank you, Jody. And thank you, Ken, Dr. Smiley, for having us all here. So I wrote a book, Marker and Lid. I'm going to hold it up and show you guys so you can kind of get a visual to start. Marker and Lid is a story that was inspired by a spot in my classroom. I've been a teacher for 23 years. And there was a little lid, just like there always are little lids, lost in the side of the classroom here and there. When the marker is dried out, and the marker's in the trash, and then the lid has nowhere to go, and it found its way to the side. And I got to thinking about, what must that lid feel like, just discarded, not needed anymore. And so the story of Marker and Lid came about. So the story is about two friends. They're a clique right from the start, and they go through ups and downs through their adventures, triumphs and trials of life. Marker is really thoughtful and creative, and Lid is really patient and supportive. And as they go through their life together, and there's different illustrations to tell the different things they get into, Lid starts to feel a little less important, because Marker is dazzling the world and showing the world all these great things and making art and producing things, and Lid is literally always sitting on the side of the table. And so, as an unlikely hero does, Lid is posed with a problem and has to use all of his might, and finally, at the end of the day, saves Marker, just as every good Lid does. And so the story of Marker and Lid is really about that we all have something special and different. And a lid is not a marker, and a marker is not a lid. And what we can do in the world oftentimes is compare ourselves to others and wish that we had what someone else has. And that's kind of the spot that Lid was in. So I feel like the story translates beyond the page, to different levels. I go to schools and I talk about this story. When I'm talking with little kids, I really love to sing with them and talk about Marker and Lid and play games with them, read the book, of course. And then as I get into older groups, I talk about some author secrets and some other things. But always the meat of what I want to talk about is that we have roles in our life. Sometimes we're more of a lid role, and sometimes we're more of a marker role. And a lid role would be like the supportive friend or family member who's kind of on the sideline, not necessarily out in front, and maybe sometimes like thankless a little bit. And then a marker role might be one where we feel like we're producing, maybe earning a paycheck, scoring the goals, earning awards. There are a lot of ways that we can kind of be like in a marker space in our life. And the importance of those two roles and how they work together. So a marker can't do what a marker does without a lid supporting at the end of the day. And we're like that in our lives too, right? Behind every successful person is a lot of support who's gotten that person there. And those lids in our lives are really important. So a couple of things I talk to students about, the two roles, and how even within one day, we can vacillate between those two roles. Sometimes more of a marker, and we're doing the things, and we're kind of the star of the day in some form or fashion. And then a lid where we need to be that person who supports a friend who's going through something, or a family member who's going through something, so that they can rise, because when we lift one another, we rise together. So it's really important to me to share that message. And then also to talk about that if you see something in someone, a quality, a gift in someone, a special talent in someone, that you say it. And I'm trying to spread that message, because oftentimes we'll have gifts, we'll have talents, we'll have special things that we feel like maybe we're good at or maybe we're not good at. But when someone honors that and validates that by saying it aloud or recognizing it, it really makes all the difference to grow our strength and to grow our self-esteem. So this book gives me a lot of space to talk about a lot of things that aren't just for children, can be taught to children, but also that adults can contemplate in their life. That metaphor of like, who are the lids in my life? And do I tell them enough that I appreciate what they've done for me? And who are the markers in the world? Am I in a marker phase where I'm being supported, or when have I been, and what was that like? Because that's so important too, right? We all need our chance to shine, and that's how the world moves forward. So if we were all markers or we were all lids, of course, the world would be very dull. And so I love that the story can be talked about and applied to our own lives. I wanted to say about Marker and Lid, I was the illustrator too. And that was a journey for me, because I've never really done that before. It was my first book. And so it was really special to sit with actual art supplies with, I've been a painter for a long time, but to use oil pastels and pen and ink and watercolor and really just contemplate the thoughts of what I wanted the feeling on each of those pages to be. And with editor's help, of course, change things and shuffle things from what the storyboard said. But it was really cool to be able to go through that process with actual art supplies in front of me at my kitchen table and create this story about these two characters who really hold each other up and develop a relationship that has a really strong balance, and that we all can do that in our own lives too. I had a couple other things I wanted to say, so I just need to look at my notes. Oh, the takeaway from this story is about self-esteem, and that we all have a purpose, and that there's self-reliance that we can count on, but just the social emotional skills that are just so important for us to talk about, think about, and contemplate in our own lives and share with students. It's been such an incredible journey, and I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And first of all, a couple of things. I love the concept of using a marker and a lid, because as a teacher in a classroom too, how many lids have we found lying everywhere?
Yes.
So it's so relatable, even as a mom, and you got the marker or lids everywhere. But also knowing that you were the illustrator for that. So not only are you quite talented, and my hat's off to you, because I cannot draw. I'm a stick figure kind of gal. But the thought that your story is about art supplies, and you also did it's just all kind of folds in on itself. So thank you for that. So just real quickly before we leave you, tell us where we can find you and connect with you.
Okay, I'm going to hold this up because I have the QR code right here in the corner. On Instagram, I'm Go and Spread Your Light. That's the name of the publishing company that I started with this book, because I really feel like we all have light to spread. And then also markerandlid.com. So the title of the book, markerandlid.com, will take you to my website. It's available on Amazon and on my website too.
All right. Excellent. Thank you again so much for being here. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I am certainly going to go out there and read Marker and Lid myself. So,
great. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.